Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Femme Tell All podcast. My name is Madison Bellissimo.
And I'm Ruth Devereaux.
And we're so happy you're here.
So happy.
So happy.
Every time.
Every time. And we'll never not be happy.
No, ever. Not once.
And we just smile into the camera.
Don't sound watching. No.
And today's episode is about who pays for a date. Mm-hmm. And you would think it's not controversial, but it is.
Especially amongst this duo right here.
This is one of the only things we disagree on.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah.
So, Ruth, why don't you start your platform?
Okay. The man pays.
Period, done, end.
And
that was a short book.
Yeah.
The man pays.
I know I rambled on a little bit there, so I'll allow you the space now to say what your thoughts are on this subject.
Not you. I rambled. Okay. It feels more nuanced to me. That's where she said, you're wrong, but okay, continue. I love that I have you, though, in my life because you've many times been like, no fucking way, you're paying for that. And I have talked in past episodes about my hyper-independency. And sometimes it's a really good thing, and sometimes it bites me in the ass. Yeah. And sometimes it comes into play when I'm on a date. Mm-hmm. I prefer going Dutch a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong. If you want to court me. Let's go. I will totally be traded. But I get nervous after a certain point where I'm like, let me pay for something. Let me do something. Let me, and yeah. So that's where I feel like it's more nuanced. And when I think a guy asks a woman out to a date, if he's like, hey, let me take you out. Mm-hmm. That's very clear. I do think he should pay because he's asking.
Guys pay every time they ask you.
You gotta put me on blast like that. No. Yeah, you're right. I've paid too many times. I know I've paid too many times, and I've paid for some assholes out there. And and at the time, I never regret. Like I will say, like there's always a risk in going on a date, and there's always where I have a hard time is when I hear guys being like, and I wasted money on women. And you're like, sorry,
do you know,
it's a gamble.
I know that people say this, but do you know how much we have to spend to get ready for that date?
Yeah, get into it.
It's not like even take time into currency. Mm-hmm. The amount of time it takes us to get ready versus what it takes you to get ready.
That's true.
The amount of items that need to be purchased.
Makeup, hair, style. Like fashion, shoes,
perfume,
perfume. Let alone in LA when it's like, God forbid, you go outside with some Target shoes. Which
totally,
I love Target shoes, but
I'll shop some Target.
Yeah, we are Target girls. But like, God forbid, if you don't have a Jimmy Choo,
no, completely. And like, there's judgment even on that for like women, but a different subject. But like, there's so much that a woman has to do just to prepare to be investment wise, mm-hmm. And generally. Not every time. There's some men that do go take you on a really nice date to a nice place. Generally, what you're spending to buy me dinner is way less. Way less. Mm-hmm. So that's what I take into consideration. I will also say for me personally, and this doesn't have to be everybody, for me personally in choosing a partner, I do want somebody that is a provider. Yeah. I do want somebody that says, like, I want to take care of you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's important for me. And again, this differs from person to person, but like, that is a statement when you say, I'm going to take care of this and I'm going to take care of you. Like, that is a statement and that is a personal decision, but that's what I look for in a partner.
Totally. I get it. And I think that's where on the opposite side of things, I'm like, let me treat you sometimes. Like, I know how much you do for me. But I overcorrect. Yeah. I 1000% have overcorrected in the past. I've been in relationships where I was more of the person that was spending money on my partner when I didn't have means to my own, but I was spending the very little means that I had.
Well, that's another factor too. Yeah. It depends on who's bringing in more money too, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And also, not to be like that, but like we still are making how much to the dollar? We'll put it below because I don't know. I think it's like 72 cents or 76.
Like that to the dollar. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's that we have to take that into consideration.
It's something to be considered.
We do have to bring it in. Yeah. I think it's in the conversation again, and I do think it's nuanced. I will also say, not to be hypocritical, but when I've had a man, there's only been 2 men. Yeah, there's been 2 men that didn't let me touch a check, and I had to beg them. Like I did, and I maybe there was a third that kind of did it, but he would let me take care of everything, every now and then. But there was 2 men that were like, over my fucking dead body will I let you. And every time I was like, oh my God, you're so embarrassing. And then I'd be like, my man. I will say, like, that's where feminism left my body.
But I don't think that's feminism.
No, I know. I'm just making a joke here. I'm making a joke because you're right. Yeah. Feminism incorporates that. It totally does. I was making a joke. But it didn't leave my body in the way where I was like, free will where? Like, treat me. Yeah, literally. I was like, you can treat me all you want. Yeah, and I think that's where it's funny because I do, when I have been treated, I've been like, oh my God, don't. And I love it. I do love it at the end of the day. Yeah. I do. And it is something that it is such a love language. And it is a love language. It really is someone like providing for you. And I think specifically those 2 men or 3 men that I'm talking about, it never felt like ownership. It really felt like, no, this is something I want to do for you because I work hard for my money, and any money that I have, I want to spend on you.
Because I do want to expand on that a little bit though, because there is a difference too. Like I'm in my toxic relationship, anytime anything was ever done for me, it was brought back and thrown in my face. Like, so there is that factor too. Like that is not okay, and that is not acceptable in any way. This is a completely different conversation.
Either gender, either sexuality. You should never be holding anything over your partner's head. No, it doesn't matter.
If you do something for somebody, you do it out of willingness.
Yeah. And that's where I think it's hard for me to digest. Sometimes I've talked to men that like, either when they've been dating me and I'm like, what an interesting thing to say to the girl you're dating. It's like, I hate spending money on women. I waste money. And you're like eating your pasta.
In that accent?
Yeah. And they become, I need to quit. I'm sorry. Femtall is over.
No, it is part of it. And where's the movie quote?
I'm waiting for the movie quote for this week. But yeah, I think it's so hard for me because like, I hear that and I'm like, I get, and there are women, I'm sure, that do just go out for a free meal.
Sure.
And I'm sure there's people in general, I'm not going to just say women, but like there are people that go out for a free meal and cash in and then fucking dip the fuck out. And
can't tell you how many free drinks I got at bars when I was younger.
Yes. Yeah. You know, and
I'm proud of it.
Yeah. But like work what you got, you know, like get your bag, get your coin. I think I say that at least once an episode.
That's also part of every episode.
Because it's true. Like, you know, use the resources that you have. And I do like treating my partners and those 2 guys that I dated that were like over my dead body, when I was able to slip in a check, I could tell it meant a lot to them.
Well, I think it also is very different in long-term relationships too.
Oh,
like, well, I'm never going to just be like, no, I'm never going to take care of you. Like, this is all on you. Like, I definitely want like a partnership, but I do feel very strongly, like, it's also for me, like, this is going to be such a weird thing. And again, like, this isn't, like, maybe it's just the way I was raised. Like, I feel very uncomfortable being in a car with a man when I'm driving. Yeah. Because I don't know why. Like, I think that they're the man.
Passenger princess only.
I don't know. It's not like, and I'm not like, I'm very independent in life, but like, there's like factors for me in a relationship that I want the man to like hold a certain role. Again, that's very personal for me. Yeah. And not everybody's going to feel this way. And it's not like this is the right across the board and that's how everybody should be. This is personal for me and what I want. Yeah.
I get it. I actually like being driven too. Yeah. And it's funny, in my first long-term relationship, I used to drive him all the time. Yeah. Because he didn't have a car the first part of our relationship. And that was because we were in college and all this stuff, you know, and we didn't need it being on campus. But like, then he got a car and then we would switch off. Yeah. But it's funny, I had a man that has been in my life. I don't know how to describe him. Okay. Someone that had come out and visit me and stayed with me for 2 weeks. And we had a nice romantic 2 weeks. And I remember one of the days he was like, give me the keys. I'm driving. And I was like, this is my car. And he was like, I was like, you don't live in LA. Like, you don't know how to navigate LA's traffic. And he was like, you're not driving us to this restaurant. And I kind of was like, okay. I remember being like something in the control.
And I will also say, like, even especially for women that are independent, that are like running businesses or running like having to consistently be in control the majority of their lives, there is something to say like, please take this burden from me a little bit.
That's actually such a good point. She's getting me on her side. I thought we were gonna, but that's a really good point because that's where I notice when I like hit a really good stride with a guy is when he knows to be like, shut the fuck up and not actually say that, but like in a good way of like, let me take care of this. You please for once. And I'm like, okay. Because I'm so used to being like, no, let me take care of it. I got it. I'm fine. No, I can carry my own bag. I can do this. I can do this. And when they're like, I love you, but let me do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then it lets me relax. And it's like, it really is taking a burden off my shoulders.
It's also like, and I think we hear more about this nowadays, is relaxing into that feminine energy. So the man has the ability to have that masculine energy come out. And like, or not, I don't even say man, whoever's in that energy and most comfortable in that energy, you allow that person in that space to be in their natural environment. Whereas like, I will say that I'm very feminine in my current relationship, whereas in past relationships, I've been more of the masculine energy because I didn't feel safe. And so I felt like I had to be that energy. Yeah.
And I will say, not to disagree with you, but I don't know how much I subscribe to like, own your femininity so he can be masculine. I do get it. And I've like really drank the Kool-Aid a couple of times where I've been like, yeah, I need to just be feminine. But then I'm like, that's not necessarily natural to my homeostasis. Like I definitely have some masculine tendencies, but I think you're right. Yeah. When there is a really good ebb and flow of like letting me be feminine, letting them be masculine and feminine, that's the whole thing.
If you don't feel comfortable, if that is your natural energy, then that's your natural energy and you live in that. Like, and then your right partner will have the energy that matches with that the best. Totally. Like, for me, I feel my natural energy and the energy that I want to give is feminine. I want to be a caretaker.
And specifically with Neil too. Yeah. It's you guys are a great match. And I will say it's true. Hi, Neil. But I think one thing, and we haven't touched on this, but I would love to take the opportunity because we're talking about it, femininity. Like the whole reason this is called Fem Tell All is not because we're two women and we were like, we wanted to always show opinions, and when we have guests, have people that can identify with their feminine side, right? Because we think femininity is so often overlooked or taken as a weakness, and we want to really
show the strength
champion
in that.
Champion the feminine energy
and show the nuances of it because it isn't this flat surface. There's so many different layers to what femininity is for each person.
I think any gender, any sexuality can experience femininity. Absolutely. And I think that's what we really
I love like that is that.
It was a mission statement that we haven't talked about, but
you're so right.
We talked about it prior to setting this up, and naming it. So I do want to bring up a funny story now.
Tell me.
Of when I got Venmo requested for a date that I had gone on. Please don't do this. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I've seen
the anger that was also like for no reason.
And I've seen TikTok girlies.
And also, by the way, on this date, she also paid for things.
Yes.
Which is so crazy. It wasn't like you just sat back and you're like, here, take care of me. Like, you paid for items.
That's the funniest part. Yeah. So to set and I'm sure this guy, if he listens, will probably troll us. If he'll be like, well, the real story is.
Please come.
I'll give the Cliff Notes version. I had asked this person to go to a concert with me because I had an extra ticket. Yes. The ticket was free. I was not charging him for it. Obviously, if I'm asking you to go to a concert, I'm not going to charge you. I do that with friends. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Asked him, hey, do you want to go to this concert with me? He had been asking me on dates for quite some time then. We had never gone on a date. So this was going to be our first date, I guess. And it wasn't clearly a date, but we were like, hey, I said, hey, you want to go to this concert with me? He says yes. He's like, hey, we should get dinner before. Again, I'm like gauging because we haven't said this is a date, but I'm like, sure, let's get dinner. We go to dinner. I order one entree and free water from this restaurant because we're not in Europe, we're in America. Yeah. And so it's free. And I'm like, hey, okay, cool. And we go to pay. Yeah. And he goes, no, let me take this. And I go, are you sure? No, really. And my card's out. It's not the fake reach. Are you sure? It's not that, which we love that move, but it wasn't that. It was a true wallet was out, card was out. And he was like, no. Let me take this. We get to the concert venue again, tickets that I got us. We get through. I go, let me buy us a drink. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, please. Would love to. Yeah. Buy him a drink. Yeah. I think I bought him 2 drinks. And doesn't matter. Even if I just bought him one drink.
It does matter. Let's do the addition here.
Even if I bought him one drink, right? The concert, He kisses me at the concert. I'm like, okay, this is clearly a date.
Yeah.
We're kissing during the day. We leave the concert. I'm like, you know, it would be really great. We should get ice cream. He's like, cool. And again, not expecting him to pay for the ice cream. We get to the ice cream place. I go, oh, let me pay. No, let me get this. Again, no, God, no. Let me get this. And I'm like, are you sure? I got this. Okay, say less. We leave. We say bye. We don't go on another date after that. Yeah. And I don't ghost him. I don't do anything, but he claimed I ghosted him. We were friends. So it wasn't even like, I didn't block him. I didn't do anything. Like, we just didn't talk. We talked like twice after that. And it wasn't like he said like, let's go on a date. And I just like left him on red. Yeah. We didn't, we had a couple of interactions and it went nowhere. He's like, I can't believe you ghosted me. He texts me. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way. I didn't ghost you, but like, glad that we're having this conversation now because I actually am seeing someone and I want to be respectful to them. So I don't think we can go out anymore. Wow. Oh my God. You wasted my time. I can't believe I wasted money on you. And gets so angry with me. And I've never experienced someone being this aggressive. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So
also red freaking flag.
Yeah. Like, again, it was just such a weird, like
the anger that came with it. Like, it's like,
yeah.
I mean, if you're dating at all and you're dating, like, you're not dating one person right off the bat. You're dating multiple people. Yes. And you're going to each be spending money, like, either in getting ready for the date or, like,
And that's where I have an issue with it where guys are like, I don't want to waste money on women. If you truly don't want to take women out, then don't take women out, first of all. Second of all, if you want to be like, we should go Dutch on this, you can say that. You can say that beforehand. You can make
cheaper dates, too. Like, go to coffee. That's, like, a couple dollars. Like, if it's such an issue.
If you build your own little picnic basket. There's many options,
go on
obviously.
A hike. Whatever that is, you can still take time to get to know somebody in many different factors. Yeah.
Correct. So then he's like really weird with me and he's like, okay, whatever, like pretty much tells me to fuck off. Like is very aggressive. Blocks me, removes me, all this shit. And I'm like, wow, okay. A couple days later, I get a Venmo request for like $26.
$26
for the entree, and he put the emojis. He put like an entree emoji and an ice cream emoji, and I was like, I can't make this shit up. Like he's really requesting I pay for this, and I was like, there's no way. Are you serious? Yeah. Like that's insane. I mean,
the pettiness of it was so insane.
Yeah, and then I turned down the payment. And he unblocked me on Instagram and he texts me and he goes, DMs me, he goes, the least you can do is pay for your meal for being as shitty as you were. Which I was like, oh, wow. We're operating on a totally different cuckoo level that I've never experienced before. So I Venmo'd him more than $26 to make a point. And
by the way, I was telling her, do not do that.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have in the way like the
way it was handled.
I didn't owe him anything.
No.
Again, and I hate that where it's like, just because you pay for dinner, you're not entitled to sex.
No.
You're not entitled to a kiss at the end of the night. You're not entitled to hand-holding. You're not entitled for this woman to continue to go out with you.
No.
And that's where it's like, when I'm saying like, yeah, of course there's dates that I've regretted paying for, but I'm like, I knew that going into it. If I offer to pay, sorry, go up to like, say it with your chest. You're doing it. You're paying. That's money gone.
Yeah.
And then move on.
Yeah.
And I found it so interesting that this person had requested me for $26.
Which is so insane. Like, I've been on really, like, nice dates, like, back in the day, like, where people spent, like, good money on me. And it just didn't work out. And, like, I really appreciate you being able to do it because I've been taking on nice dates.
Yeah.
But, like, I've never had somebody come back at me so aggressively because, like, that was like I also gave them my time too by being there with them, and I genuinely went there to get to know them and like see what could happen from that. There's never ever any evil will like trying to get something from somebody,
and that was very apparent. But he obviously took it how he wanted to. He saw the reality that he wanted to see, and that's okay. And I hope he's better. I hope he's found peace. But I
hope he lost that $26.
But I'm just like, wow. And that's where I think it's nuanced. And that's where I think, because I've had some interesting experiences that I'm like, okay, I'd rather pay for my own.
But I also think that it is like in the way that somebody reacts, like that's factors too in choosing if you want to date them.
that was very clear. Right? After he reacted that, I was
like, that's an extreme.
Literally, if you thought I was never going on a date with you, I'm genuinely never going on a date. I'm yours. Not anymore. I promise I'm a singer. That was not singing. But like, genuinely, no. Yeah, my God.
No.
Oh my God, no. Like,
and see the difference too. Like, if you were on a date with somebody and they were so gracious to say like, hey, I really want to take it. Like, your viewpoint of them is going to be different. And also, here's the other thing too. Like, we touted people on previous episodes, like of being like a green flag of people somebody should date.
Yeah.
You don't know where people are going to end up and what their podcast is going to do.
Listen, we're going to do a green flag. I want to do a green flag because we have so many people that we can. I want to do a full episode where I at least recommend. I have multiple men that I could be like, ladies, get your pocketbooks ready.
Yeah, we'll throw up their handles.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's true. There are so many people, and I know you have it too. I know I have a lot of friends too that are women that have dated men that have been like, he was incredible, just not for me.
Yeah.
And like, if you treat a woman with respect, oh my God, what a concept! Yeah. You will be you'll be spoken of in a very complimentary light. Trust me when I say women are not out here trying to come for guys in a bad way. We really are not. Like, we want to be proven so badly that there are good men out there, and there
are great men out there.
And we have been proven that.
We like Will is one of them.
Yes, Will is.
Oh yeah, Will will be the first person we tell.
Green flag,
green flag, single, amazing ladies. Yeah. We'll throw his handle up on this shit.
Will's like, don't do it, but we will do it. But it's true.
He's saying yes.
Yeah. Unanimously.
We'll see.
Yeah. But it's true. We want to champion other people. Yeah. Like you don't want to go to your friends and be like, oh my God, he treated me like shit. That's the worst thing. Yeah. That's the worst thing. You want to be able to be like, he was awesome. They were awesome. I had a great time with them. Yeah. I really enjoyed the date. Just not for me.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. Yeah. And it's like so unfortunate that more times than not we're experiencing.
Well, I mean, it shows like there's just shitty people out there. There's great people out there, but there's shitty people out there, and like their colors usually show pretty quickly, and early on, and it's just recognizing and
if they Venmo request to you, don't do it. Or do it like me and pay them extra because they need it to make a point.
She tipped
Here's
him.
a couple extra bucks, my guy.
Thanks for harassing me.
Yeah. Like, no, literally. I was like, and for your good fortune. Which that was Noah's idea, one of my best friends. Yeah. That was very clutch of her to be like, fucking tip him more. He obviously needs it. I was like, you're so right. That's such a good idea. But besides that, we'd love to hear what you guys think as far as does the man pay? And I'm sure like from a man's perspective, it is a little more nuanced too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to hear everybody's thoughts on this. And we know it differs from situation to situation. I still stick by what I want. And I know it also differs in what you want in a relationship and what you want in a partner. But again, we would love to hear what you guys think. Please let us know. We were so happy you guys are here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on all of our platforms. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.